Hello, this is Lionheart2113 again. Today we're going to move on to the next step in the tuning spreadsheet for Gran Turismo 6. We have filled out all of the yellow cells with the red lettering from part 1. So we're going to move to the next step, which is in the transmission settings. And we have our horsepower and torque numbers taken from the garage homepage. We know our max horsepower and we know our max torque. From that, we can calculate the horsepower at max torque and the torque at max horsepower. Just a simple little math formula. So we can come in here and see that we are operating between 5,000 and 7,200 RPM. So we will just modify that in this area here. All right. So you can see this graph shows no information whatsoever, and it's because of these numbers over here. You'll see that we're operating from 350 to 440. So to change that, to left click on these numbers, right click, scroll down the format axis, and we can change our minimum and maximum values. We'll have to go with the lowest figure here, which is 245. We'll just put in 240 for this. And then the highest number, which is 337. Now we can see that we have our horsepower and our torque. And another good thing about this is, although it just shows a straight line, it does at least show them intersecting at the infamous 5252. So now that we have these numbers here, we can kind of get a rough feel for what kind of decline of torque we have and what kind of increase of horsepower we have. For the next phase, we're going to talk about filling in these numbers here. And for that, we need to take our car to the Nürburgring and find out exactly how fast it can go. Once at the Nürburgring, we're only here to test the top speed that this car can go. So we'll go to car settings. It's a fully customizable transmission. We're going to leave the gears stock, and 199 miles an hour should do the trick. Make sure that the traction control didn't magically turn itself back on. We head to the track. And we'll just turn ourselves around, head in the opposite direction. With this being one of the longest straightaways in the game, this should give us a really good idea on exactly how fast this car can go under its own power on any racetrack in this game. Since we will be figuring how fast this car goes on its own up to red line in the last gear, that will allow for a little bit of drafting. But we'll get to that later. All right, so we're about 186, and we weren't quite at the red line. So what we'll do is we'll be able to take these figures from the transmission, these are the numbers that we want to fill in columns B through F on the tuning spreadsheet. After you've filled out the yellow cells with the red lettering for all the gear ratios, come up here and finish the last part of it. You'll see the 2 sets of zeros. Just come to the first set here and enter in the final gear ratio. And you'll see that it automatically fills in this. For the next video, we'll talk about flipping the transmission and why.